Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Navs Effect podcast. For today, we have a special guest. Jack Cruz-Dumont of the UE Red Warriors was kind enough to join us even while the UAAP season is going on. We will talk about a variety of topics, particularly his journey to the UAAP and how he's adjusting to life as a UE Red Warrior so far. UE, I have to say, everyone is my surprise pick to be a Final Four contender this season. I really like what they're building there at University of the East, led by Coach Jack Santiago. But before we get to the podcast episode, a quick word from our sponsor, Get Blue. Calling all Ateneo fans. UAAP Season 86 is upon us, and the roar of the crowd is about to fill the air as the Blue Eagles gear up to defend their throne. Are you ready to be the sixth man and fuel their journey to victory to keep the crown in Loyola Heights? We know you bleed blue, and now it's the time to show it with pride. Get Blue is here to help you do just that. The brand new collection of Ateneo gear is hotter than ever, and it's the perfect way to display your unwavering support for Team Ateneo. Let your wardrobe do the talking this UAAP season. Wear your pride, stand with the Blue Eagles, and be part of the winning tradition. Don't miss out on the excitement. Join the Ateneo community in cheering for victory. Get ready to soar with the Blue Eagles and get blue. All right, everybody. We are now here with Jack Cruz-Dumont. Jack, thanks for joining me. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me. And I like that prediction you just made.
Of course. Hey, listen, I have to take some accountability here. Before the season started, I thought that UE would be somewhere in that 5 to 6 range. That's not to say that right now you guys are clearly like 1, 2, 3 yet. You're kind of in there, in the middle there with everyone else. But based on what we've seen so far, the character of this team, you guys are legit Final Four contenders. Let's start with that. When did you know, and then when did you and your teammates know that this squad that you have, that you built up, has the potential to actually contend for the Final Four? Was it early in the practices, or was it like when the season started?
It was early. I started getting the idea of it. When I first started talking to Coach Jack, I saw how hungry he was to build a Final Four contender. I saw the guys we were bringing in. And then I think after a month or two of practicing together, once we started really putting it together, then we all started to really believe that we have a real team here. We have a good mix of Phil-Ams, a couple of veteran locals, and obviously Precious as an import has been playing really well to start the season. So we've been putting it together, and I think people are finally starting to see it.
Yeah, for sure. And for those who don't know, Coach Jack Santiago is actually the main lieutenant of Franz Pamarin, a former multi-title. He is not a former titled head coach. He's still a multi-titled head coach in college basketball. Has won championships for DLSU. He was Franz's assistant for the longest time. He's used to training teams to becoming Final Four contenders. And so far, his career as UE head coach hasn't been, I would say, the most flawless journey given what he's been through. But he can coach a team, and he knows how to put a team together. He knows how to recruit. He learned from Franz, a great recruiter back in the day. And he's recruited guys like you, Jack, to this team. You, Ethan Galang, Precious Momoway, like you mentioned, your FSA, Gerard Wilson, who was originally at UST and now in UE, and even someone like Devin Fikes, who had some moments in one of your games against UP. So he knows his stuff. And the team that you have, when you went for that out of town trip to Taiwan, I believe it was in Taiwan, was that the early point where you were like, we have a really good team? Because I believe you guys performed well in your pocket tournament.
Yeah, we went undefeated in Taiwan. We won that little championship there. And no, I definitely agree. That was some of the first time where I think we really showed our chemistry when playing together. And we didn't even have an import when we were there. It was just all Phil-Ams and locals. And that's when we really started getting our ball movement. I think roles kind of started getting created in that tournament. And obviously, winning a trophy together builds team chemistry. So that was one of the first times where we really started looking good.
Yeah, and I should also mention you have one player named John Abate who did not make the lineup this season, but is
Yeah.
expected to be there next season. And a lot of people have raved about the talent that he has. He just needs some time to get used to the Philippine style of play. He came from the United States as well. Now,
Yeah.
the foreign student athlete spot in particular was quite interesting because for the longest time it seemed like UUE Red Warriors would go with Delvion Jackson, who played for you infill oil. But a few days before the tournament started, Coach Jack mentioned this with Delvion already back in the US, and it was unsure if Precious would be eligible for the season. And he got the call that Precious's papers made it in time to be eligible this season. But given that whole process, first being with Delvion and then training with Precious and then not being sure if you would have a foreign student athlete, were there a lot of question marks heading into the UAP season?
Yeah, there were a lot of question marks that last 2 weeks before the season, especially. There were a ton of unknowns because it kept going back and forth whether DJ might come back, whether we're gonna go, whether Precious would be eligible, or there was some talks about going all Filipino. So we just kept working hard, kept practicing, and just kept trying to focus on what we could control. And then a couple days before is when we confirmed it was Precious was eligible. So that obviously brought some excitement to the team. And then yeah, he's shown how valuable he is to the team. So it's been great.
Yeah, what's nuts is Precious was actually training in Ateneo already at one point. And I
Yeah,
believe that Precious's handler was in talks with LaSalle at one point if LaSalle wanted to recruit him, and LaSalle said no. The old coaching staff, not the current coaching staff. I just want to clarify that. But what Ateneo and LaSalle failed to be able to keep in their program was UE's gain. And Precious, I would say, is the second best foreign student athlete in the UAP right now, behind reigning MVP Malik Diouf. And he can just impact a game. In fact, we're recording this Thursday, a day after you Red Warriors almost beat Ateneo in a really exciting Wednesday afternoon game. And Precious was superb in that contest. He fouled out late in the game, which I thought was huge. But the way he's been playing so far, his versatility has been key. Jack, just to confirm, you have 2 seasons of eligibility, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or are you one
yes,
and
I
done?
do.
You have 2 seasons, yeah. So you will get to play with your brother Hunter next season.
It looks like it. Yeah.
So, what can UE fans, because they already kind of have an idea of what you bring to the court, but what does Hunter bring to the court?
Hunter, I mean, he's been battling a rehab journey for a long time, so he's itching to get back. But when he does, I mean, he's a little taller than me. He's a 6'5" wingman. I think his game is gonna change a little bit coming to the Philippines. I think he's gonna play, the athletic wing spot. I'd say he's more of a slasher. He can get to the rim. He has a good mid-range game. Can defend 1 through 5. So he's gonna be an exciting player in the Philippines.
Yeah, for sure. And you have another brother named Cole as well, who's still in the US, if I'm not mistaken.
He's still in Canada.
Oh,
He
Canada,
came
yeah.
out here the first 3 weeks in June when we were here. He was actually with us practicing with UE just to get a feel for the Philippines. He's starting at his university team in Canada, playing well. He's about a 6'4" guard as well. He's shooting is probably the main part of his game. He'll come to the Philippines eventually when the time's right. But he's just going into his second year of university now, so he's going to get some more experience back home before he comes out here.
Right, right. So he would have the opportunity if he transfers to play college ball here or play 1 season here as a master student, or even, if he wants to go pro here, he can do that as well. And
Yeah.
I've seen some clips of your brother. If he trash talked you and Hunter right now and was like, hey, I'm better than both of you, he might have a little bit of a case. Or do you and Hunter kind of take some offense about that?
Not yet, but no, we have some battles, and he watches all our games. We talk to him all the time, so when the time's right, he'll be here, and the Philippines fans and community will start to know his name.
Attention all Animo faithful. UAAP Season 86 has arrived, and it's time for the DLSU Green Archers to reclaim their spot at the pinnacle of UAAP basketball. The battlefield is set and the roar of the crowd awaits. Are you ready to keep the Animo spirit alive? There's no better way to show your unwavering support for the Green Archers than by sporting the finest LaSalle apparel, and that's where Green Blooded comes in. They are your go-to destination for all things green and white, designed with passion and precision to help you stand out in the sea of fans. Ready to gear up for success? Simply visit Green Blooded online to explore their latest collection. Whether you're a student, an alum, or simply a devoted fan, they have something special for everyone. Get ready to cheer the Green Archers back to glory. Let your passion shine through your apparel and fuel the Animo spirit with Green Blooded. That brotherhood that the three of you share, what's it like after a game when your bros watch your game tape? Are they like, you were so close, you could have made that shot? Or are they like, come on, bro, how could you miss that shot? Like what kind of vibe did they give you?
I mean, we just keep it real with each other. We
Mm.
help each other out. We just talk basketball. I mean, it's hard to answer that because we talk like every single day in our group chat and stuff. So we keep it real with each other, try to help each other out any way we can.
Do you guys play 2K with each other too, or video games?
I mean, we're not a massive video game family, honestly, so we don't really play video games like that. But
Well, what
we
what
play
else do you
actual hoop.
I see. What else do you compete at though? Like, do you compete at cards, dominoes, anything and everything?
I mean, when you have three brothers live in the same house, you compete with anything. So, I mean, we also played football growing up. That was our other sport. So, usually any other sport.
So you've had a lot of nights where, tempers flared a little bit because of the competition.
Yeah. I mean, that's the everyday battle as brothers.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I grew up with two sisters. I didn't grow up with any brother, but I was competitive with my sisters too. So I can only imagine what it must be like to compete with brothers, especially if you're playing the same sport. How many one-on-one battles have you had with your brothers over the years? Do you think you've won the most since you're the eldest?
I've definitely won the most. I've won a couple 2-on-ones as well when we were
Oh.
super young. But I mean, Hunter's been out for a while, so I haven't played Hunter in a while. But when me and Hunter go at it, that's probably when it gets the most heated. But me and Cole played a lot of one-on-one this summer when I was trained to come out here for the Philippines. All month of June, no, March, April, May, before we came out here, we had like this gym membership that had a basketball in Canada that had a basketball court and had a weight room. So we literally just all three of us went there every single day. And then when we were out here, Cole was still going there every single day. So we had the same training routine of like lifting and then either scrimmaging or basketball workouts. So we train together every single day. Like we live the same lifestyle.
For sure. I'm sure that being with your brothers is such a great help too, just in terms of helping you as a basketball player and having family around, the mental side of it, knowing that there's
Yeah.
someone you can trust, especially when you travel to a whole new country and it's really a whole new lifestyle. You've played 4 UAP games so far. What has really stood out the most about the UAP basketball culture or just basketball culture in the Philippines for you personally?
It's an exciting environment. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to come out here. Playing in Mall of Asia, playing in Araneta too. Araneta was a little smaller, so it felt even more packed. But I just love the crowd environments. I love how energetic and just engaged the fans are with their teams. So just that fan culture, that fandom is the biggest, I guess, change that you're going to get when you're coming to play in the UAP. But it's super exciting and makes it even more fun. And the UE community has been like exceeded my expectations on how excited they've been for the season. I'd say through the first 4 games, I think the UE crowds have been the biggest, honestly. And that's because we're hosting, and we have a new team and a good team that the community is excited about. So it's been really good. The UE community has been amazing.
And you have a loaded team with you, with Remogat, with Sawat, Lingo Lingo yesterday played well as well. That
Yeah,
Ateneo game, you were there, going back and forth with the Blue Eagles, the defending champions. Now, they're not the same defending champions as they were last season because they lost a few players, but they still have the same head coach, some similar players, some good new recruits. What was it like being in that game, that back and forth against the defending champs with the chance for UE basketball to really prove something? Because, given that UE hasn't, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think UE has been in the Final Four since 2009. So it's been a really long time. So for you to be representing UE basketball, to be going up against a team like Ateneo in that kind of setting where the crowd is into it, the physicality is present, and guys are hitting big shots both sides of the court. What's that experience like? Being on the court and being in the thick of that competition.
yeah. I mean, we knew that Ateneo was gonna be a tough team. No matter who they have, they're a well coached team. They have championship experience. But the team that we have and the mindset of the guys we have is we can play with anybody. So we don't go into games thinking that we're playing, a bigger team or a better team than us. We're just going to compete, and I think we showed that. I think we showed that we can compete with any team. It was an exciting game. It was back and forth all game. There was just one stretch where they pulled away. We'll be more prepared for round two.
When it comes to cleaning a home or office, most people just know the basics. Mopping the floor, wiping off dust and dirt is pretty standard. While all that can make a place look clean, it doesn't mean it is clean. Making a place truly clean and virus-free requires a professional help. That's where the cleaning coach comes in. The cleaning coach provides outstanding general cleaning, commercial cleaning, post-construction cleanup, upholstery cleaning, floor, carpet cleaning, aircon cleaning, and disinfection at a very reasonable price. The cleaning coach and his team will do all the scrubbing, dusting, polishing, disinfecting, and sanitizing, so you won't have to. Making your place look clean that you can also smell and feel. You will experience the difference. Now that's stress-free cleaning to a better normal, done professionally by the cleaning coach. Contact the cleaning coach today to learn more.
Yeah, I thought the play of the game was Brown's three-pointer there late in the fourth quarter because Kai
Yeah.
actually passed him the ball, and Kai was having a big game for Ateneo, and he had the trust in Brown attempt to get that shot up, and he did. But you were hanging there with the boys, even if Precious fouled out, you guys were keeping it close. The FEU comeback was really impressive as well, just because of the fight that UUE guys showed. Luis Villegas, former Red Warrior. I'm not sure. Have you met Luis yet? Have you talked
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Luis yet? Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I've talked
and
to him a bit. He's been around, come to some games, come to some practices. So yeah.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. He was just like, and he's recovering from a torn ACL, and he was up there yesterday, like jumping, screaming, and just enjoying it. I was talking to Luis. I was like, Luis, do you wish you were like still with this team right now? And he was like, oh, hell yeah, I'd love to be part of this team and what they're building. Just imagine
Yeah,
that
we
if
could.
Luis,
No,
yeah.
that'd be a great addition. That'd be a great addition to the team.
For sure. Now, you've also played UST, the first game of the season, which I thought was a good win as well. And the other game you've played was UP. That was a really slow start, but you were able to catch up there in the second half, get the lead down to I think that was 9 or 11. So far through 4 games, what are the lessons learned for the entire team?
The UST game I think was important just because it's important to get that first win, build some momentum. It was good for the team morale, and a lot of guys stepped up that game, which was good. I think in the UP game we learned that it was our first time playing a team that had such a strong start and strong system. I guess like they played hard. They ran the lanes hard. Every time they got a rebound, they pushed the floor. So we just need to be more prepared from the start. You take away that first quarter, and it was. I think we even won the rest of the game, but you're gonna have a really hard time when you start the game down 30-9 or 30 to
Yeah.
8. So we just saw that we just learned how important a good start is, and you got to compete every possession, and you got to get back on defense. Honestly, that was the biggest difference. They run the lanes hard.
Yeah, it looked like they had breakfast and you guys didn't have with the way that first quarter started in terms of energy. And I'm sure
Yeah,
Coach Jack wasn't so thrilled about it too. In fact, he did say he wasn't thrilled about it in the post-game press conference after, noting that that was even about the time you guys practice every day early in the morning.
yeah,
But you live and you learn, right? And so
yeah.
far you bounced back against FU, you put on a good game against Ateneo. And as we're recording this, your remaining games off the first round are against Adamson. Not sure yet if Jerome will play that game. You're also going to face NU, another title contender, and you end the first round against LaSalle. So you've got 3 tough tests coming up. Where would you say you Red Warriors are right now compared to where you started the season? Do you feel you guys have improved?
Definitely. I mean, every game is going to be a challenge. So, every game is going to be a battle. You're going to learn from every game. But I think we've definitely improved. I think the more you go on the season, more, roles get established. Guys step up in different games. All year, we've had guys step up in different games. So I think, and we're a new team. We have a ton of guys who play significant minutes, who's it's their first time playing in the UAP. So the more UAP experience that you have, the better your team will be. And I think every game that goes on, our team just gets more and more confident. So I think we're in a good spot.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how you guys play out the rest of the way. Tell us something about Noy Magat. He looks quiet in the court. He plays really hard. What's he like in practice? What's his leadership qualities like?
I mean, Noy can play. You know, I think it was the last couple of games of the UAP season last year that people saw what he could do, and there were high expectations for Noy coming to the year, and I think he's done his job. He's played great. He's a quiet assassin like that. He just does his job. He goes out there, he does his role. He steps up in big moments, and he's a guy you can count on.
And Paul Lee's been in practice, right? UE legend Paul Lee,
Yeah,
PBA
Paulie's
star.
been yeah, he's been
What
around a ton.
Yeah, what have you learned from Paul Lee yourself? Paul Lee. Yeah.
Seeing him play in practice, I think, it's his composure. He's just a vet. He's just a vet. You know what I mean? Nothing really phases him. He's a smaller guy, but he knows how to get his shot off always. And no, he's been great help. He's been in the locker room like during games, giving me tips and stuff. He's always tuned into our game, so it's been really good having him around.
Yeah, and you have another former UAAP legend as well, and Don Aliado, who played for Coach Jack back when he was a Green Archer. And Don is one of the more animated assistant coaches in the UAAP, especially during the game. What's his presence been like?
Don's been good. He's a really strong assistant. He does his role, especially in scout and film. He takes a big role in that, getting us prepared as a team. And, the team respects him, the team listens to him. So he's been a really good assistant.
How much film viewing is included in the preparation for games? Do you guys watch film every day?
Yeah, since the UAP started, we've been watching film every day. The practices have really shifted once the season started. In the preseason, much longer practices, a lot of conditioning and stuff like that. But now, you play a game and then usually only have one or two practices till the next game. So every day we've been starting with some film, about 45 minutes to an hour of just either reviewing our game tape or looking at the tendencies of the team that we're about to play. So it's been really good. I think it's been a key to making adjustments.
What happens if someone falls asleep during film viewing? Do they get like called out from the whole team?
Don will make sure that person hears about it if someone falls asleep. I would not want to fall asleep in our film.
Have you ever fallen asleep during film viewing?
No, I'm locked in,
All right, I see, I see. Speaking of
and
locked
I'm drinking
in,
a coffee.
oh wait, what's your coffee go to?
Since I've been in the Philippines, you got to get an iced coffee. I've been going Spanish latte. I like
Ooh,
the condensed milk.
I see, I see. So a sweet tooth kind, right? And by the way, I
Yeah,
just drank
yeah,
a
yeah,
coffee before this too, so totally with you there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
do you make it yourself or do you get it from somewhere near campus?
There's a place like Cafe de Sol, I think it's like right across from campus that me and my brother usually go to.
I see, I see. So your brother likes his coffee too.
Yeah, yeah. Need a coffee.
How many cups of coffee do you drink in a day?
No, I just try to go one.
So
Some days two, but I'll nothing crazy.
you're not trying to be like Jimmy Butler going 7 to 9 cups a day.
7 to 9. Is that what he
Yeah,
does?
that's how many cups of cappuccino he drank before he dropped 56 points in the Milwaukee Bucks. So maybe he's doing something right, you
Well, you're
know.
gonna need some energy for that. So yeah.
What's your favorite NBA team?
I haven't really been a diehard fan since I was a kid following Steve Nash and the Suns.
That's a good role
That's my
model.
OG team.
I can't believe they never won an NBA championship. They always kept running into the Spurs, man.
Yeah, they got unlucky versus the Lakers a couple times.
That too. That too. How did you and your brothers end up in UE? Which other schools were you looking at? And what was it about Coach Jack's recruitment that delivered the Cruz-Dumont brothers to University of the East? Or you and Hunter, rather?
I talked to De La Salle a bit. I did like an open workout there, met the coaches and, did some training there and it was good. But once I started talking more in depth with Coach Jack, like I've said before, once I saw his hunger, his energy and the culture he was trying to build, that's what really excited me. The whole idea of, a new team, kind of that fifth, sixth spot last year, really trying to make a Final Four push. I knew it would be a situation where I could come in and, have a significant role. I knew they were bringing in some other recruits that I could play with. I just really saw the situation, and that's what excited me the most. And Coach Jack, I really just believe Coach Jack's vision on what he was trying to build, and I think it's been coming to fruition. So it was just the whole everything coming together at UE is what excited me the most.
Coach Jack's vision. Now, Coach Jack, like I mentioned, he's been criticized a little bit in social media for, for example, for the players that UE lost last offseason. And there are those who assume that Coach Jack might be someone who can be really tough on his players. But then when I talked to, Luis during the time he came on this podcast, he was raving about how Coach Jack builds a team, especially in college basketball. So, as someone who's been around him now for a few months, what is it about Coach Jack that people don't really know?
I mean, you're definitely right about that. Saying he's a tough coach, but he is very competitive, and that's what I gravitate towards. He really does have a vision for this team to be a Final Four contender. I like how he runs the practices. I like his style of coaching, and it's been good so far.
Yeah. Does he get mad often in practice?
Yeah. he but I think every coach does. It's a intense time of year, so he just really wants everyone to be focused, and it's been good.
You grew up with a dad who played basketball here in the Philippines back in the
Yeah.
day. I was about like 6, 7 years old, I think, by the time he was playing, which I don't want to make this about my age. So let's change topics real quick. Um, but what did you learn from him about Philippine basketball? What did you learn from him about how to play basketball? And what did you learn from him about just how to be a human being in general?
I mean, pretty loaded question. I mean, him and my mom put a basketball in our hands, like, for as long as we can remember. So basketball's always been a part of our life. I think the biggest thing I've taken from him and my mom is just hard work.
Mm.
You know, very blue collar family. That they everything they instilled in us was just about working hard and treating people with respect. And then in terms of basketball, he taught us the fundamentals from a really young age. That was always his focus, and just always put us in situations where we could get better. He always made sure that he was coaching us in some capacity, whether that was in the backyard or in different teams that we played on growing up. So he was always involved in our basketball journey. In terms of the Philippines, I just remember from a young age hearing stories about how kind of what I just said, how excited the fans were. I think he was telling us stories about how there used to be just like so some games there'd be like a fence in between like the court and the arena, and fans would just be like just going crazy. And I've actually been able to watch a lot of his games, like someone put it on YouTube. So I've watched a lot of his games, just seeing the passive community, and the NBA was just such an exciting like league at the time because each cities had their own league, so the fans were just super invested, kind of like the UAAP. So my dad's always had a hand in my basketball journey.
Was there ever a time you got to beat him 1-on-1 growing up?
Honestly, I was too young. He passed when I was 15, so when I was like 14, 13, I was not beating him yet, but it would
You
be a
were
different
getting
story
close.
now.
You were getting close at that point though, right? Or was he still like, outplaying you completely?
It was just a size advantage at that point. I was still five something, and he
Right.
was, a 6'5" grown man. So there was no beating him at that time. But yeah, it would be some battles right now. So
For sure, for sure. There's something I want to ask you, and like you mentioned earlier, it's a little loaded, but I would love to get your perspective on this. When you lose your dad at the age of 15 years old, it could be tough because you're in the middle of your teenage years. And at that point, as a 15-year-old, not just an athlete, but just a 15-year-old teenager, you're kind of trying to learn the ropes, right? Of just how to elevate past being a child into being a young adult. That process, how do you think it impacted you losing him at that age? And how was your mom able to step up and take care of all of you after his passing?
I mean, my mom's a beast. You know, if anyone knows my mom, they know how strong of a woman she is. So she's done an amazing job at, being a single mother, raising three teenage boys. You know, our family motto, we all have it tattooed on us, is keep fighting. So
Mhm.
that was just the mentality that we all, kept going with ever since my dad passed. It's what motivates us to this day. I'd also like to say, we've had a great support group around us in terms of, whether that's been basketball community, just extended family that we have. So our support group's been amazing. Our families always, stuck together and kept that same keep fighting mentality. So that's just how we've done it.
What do you think he would have said after your first UAP game this season?
I mean, he would have been at the game and he would have been very excited and just happy that us playing in the Philippines is finally happening. It's a vision he always saw for us from a young age. So he always knew that this time would come eventually. So he's excited.
Is your mom out here right now too?
No, she's not. She's a teacher and a counselor back home. So she's got work to do, but she's tuned into all our games. I talk to her all the time. She came out here for a couple weeks in the summer in August, so she was here for a bit. It was her first time being here since I was born. So
Wow.
it was our first time, my first time with my mom in 20 years. So
Wow.
she was excited. I got to show her some of the areas of the Philippines that have obviously changed so much.
Yeah.
So she was super excited. She'll, when she has more time, she'll start going back and forth more. She wants to come out here, soon.
At what age did you get your Philippine passport?
Last year,
Okay, okay. Yeah,
I got it
that's
late. Which was frustrating because the
national team.
GLAS the
Yeah.
GLAS rule. Apparently, there's a chance that that changes eventually, but I don't know. But back home, we just didn't really know. We didn't really know that that rule existed. If I had known, I think there would have been more urgency for me to get it earlier.
Yeah, and hey, you still have a chance to do so. I mean, some players end up playing for Gilas even after they get their passports after the age of 16. So you don't need to rule that out yet. That has a good possibility of happening. Was your mom always a teacher?
Yeah, she was. I
So
mean, like when my dad was playing for Pasig, she was here like teaching kindergarten and preschool. And
right.
then, when we were born and stuff, after all of us got a little older is when she started, pursuing a teaching career. And she's been a teacher for over 10 years.
So was she always strict with your grades growing up?
Not super strict, but if, we weren't coming home with terrible grades. So if we were, I think that'd be a different story.
So what subject would you say you're the best at? Is it math? Is it English? Is it break time, gym?
PE, no, I don't know. Yeah, maybe PE or something. Like, I mean, I'm in school now. School back home was a little harder though. I went to University of British Columbia.
Mm-mm.
Their university system is a little more strict, I'd say.
Do you plan to play out your 2 seasons with UE, or are you going to see what's around after this UAP season?
I think I'd obviously have to see what's around after this UAP season, but I'm not ruling out next year.
Mm-mm. Because there's a chance your team next season might be even better, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I mean, from what UE's building right now, I think it's going to attract more players, and it's also if everyone we have returns, then we're going to have a even stronger team than we do now, just because it'll be the same team but more experience, and then add my brother and stuff, so add John. So UE, I think for the next little while, UE is going to be a team to watch out for, I'd say.
Yeah, and I'm really curious about how much Ethan is going to develop as well. I feel like if he drops like a few more pounds and gets trimmer and slimmer, he's gonna be even fat. He's gonna be even faster. Are you helping Ethan try to lose those pounds?
That's funny. I'll have to heckle him for that. No, I mean, he's been through like the ringer with like fractured foot a couple months
Yeah,
ago,
yeah.
and then like versus FEU.
He got hurt. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
he like
his
yeah
nose or his
he got like
eye, right? Yeah.
yeah like almost broken nose or something. So
Jeez.
that guy, he can't catch a break, but he's very valuable to the team.
And he
And I
played
think
great.
last
Yeah,
game he
exactly.
showed that, and last game is what he was doing most of the preseason.
Yeah, and he was
So
cutting off ball too, finding the open spots in the middle, and really excited to see how much more he develops and how all of you guys develop. Okay,
yeah.
4 games in, 10 more games to go for the elimination round, then possibly even more in the final four. Where do you think UE ends up by the time the elimination round ends?
Like by the time round 1 and 2 ends,
Around by the time round 2 ends, yeah.
I mean, we're gonna be in the final four.
Mm.
So I don't know what spot, but I really believe we're gonna be in the final four.
And you feel you guys have enough of what it takes to contend for a championship?
Yeah, I think I think we have the talent. It's just gonna be how we put it together, and we just got to keep building, keep getting better as a team. But I definitely say we have the players in the locker room to be a contender.
That's Jack Cruz-Dumont, everybody. Jack, thank you so much for joining me today. I
Thank you
know
for
I
having
had to,
me.
I know I had to reschedule this a few times, but I appreciate your patience. I
No
appreciate it.
worries.
And I really can't wait to see what else your Red Warriors do this season, because for you guys to be this good means that another UAAP team is there to watch out for a potential Final Four spot, which just makes the league even more exciting than it already is. And I'm definitely sure that you guys will only keep getting better and better as long as
Yep.
everyone stays healthy, which hopefully is the case. So more
Yep.
power to all of you, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.